Hey there, and welcome. We all think about it, right? What happens after this life is over? Well, today we're going to look at a really fascinating perspective from the Bahá'í Faith. And the goal here isn't to create division, but to actually build some bridges of understanding around one of life's greatest mysteries.
So, maybe this sounds familiar to you. You're having a conversation with a friend, a good friend, and the topic of reincarnation comes up. They're talking about the soul returning again and again, but you see it a little differently. It can get kind of tricky, right? This whole explainer is really designed to help with that exact situation, to offer a way to find some harmony and real shared understanding.
All right, let's dive right in. First up, we're going to explore the Bahá'í map, you could say, for the soul's journey. It charts a path that's quite different from the cyclical nature of reincarnation. It sees our existence as one single, continuous, and always forward-moving adventure.
Okay, so the absolute starting point in the Bahá'í teachings is the uniqueness of every single soul. The belief is that your soul, your individual reality, it comes into being right at conception. It's not some pre-existing energy that gets recycled. No, it's a brand new, totally distinct spiritual being, and its core identity is yours forever.
And here's where we see that fundamental fork in the road. Reincarnation is often understood as the soul coming back to Earth over and over in new bodies, to keep learning lessons and eventually get it right. The Bahá'í view, though, is all about linear progression. You get this one incredible, precious life on Earth, and after that, the journey just keeps going forward, advancing through entirely different spiritual worlds forever.
So, you might be asking, if we only get one shot here, what's the point? Well, to explain this, the Bahá'í writings have this absolutely beautiful and powerful analogy that, well, it just makes everything click into place.
This right here is the key. Just think about it for a second. A baby in the womb develops eyes, but it can't see. It grows ears, but it can't really hear. It forms lungs, but it doesn't breathe air. All of these things are being prepared for a world it has never known and can't even imagine. This analogy suggests our life here on Earth serves the exact same purpose for our soul.
So as you can see, this builds out a really clear three-stage journey. First, your unique soul is created. Second, during this life, you are developing spiritual qualities. Things like compassion, justice, kindness, love. These are like the spiritual eyes and ears for the next world. And then third, in the afterlife, your soul uses those very qualities to navigate and grow through an infinite spiritual existence. It's all preparation. Now this is where we find that bridge, that common ground. You might actually be surprised to hear that Bahá'í scripture also talks about return. And understanding what this word means in this context, well, that's the secret to harmonizing these two viewpoints and having a really connecting conversation with your friend.
This slide really lays out the crucial difference. When a lot of people talk about reincarnation, they mean a return of essence, the idea that the very same individual soul, the same me, comes back in a different body. The Bahá'í concept of return, however, is about the return of attributes. It's not the person who returns, but their spiritual qualities, their virtues, their light. That can be manifested again in a completely new and unique individual. And this quote from Abdu'l-Bahá just illustrates it perfectly. Think about a lamp. The light you see tonight has the same qualities as the light from last night, the same brightness, the same warmth, but it's not the identical flame, right? It's not the same particles of energy. It's the same virtue of light, but a new identity. And we can even see a powerful example of this in the Bible. In the Gospel, Jesus says that John the Baptist is the return of the prophet Elijah. But when John the Baptist himself is asked, "Are you Elijah?" he says, "I am not." From this perspective, they're both telling the truth. It wasn't Elijah's individual soul living in John's body. It was the return of Elijah's spiritual power, his station, his divine qualities, all made new again in the person of John.
So armed with this deeper understanding of a shared word like return, how can you actually have that positive, connecting conversation with your friend? Let's break down a simple, gentle approach.
First things first, start on common ground. You both believe the soul is eternal, that this life isn't the end. That's huge. From there, you could maybe gently introduce that womb analogy, just as another way to think about life's purpose. Then, you could explore this beautiful idea together. Hey, what if the return we feel is the return of amazing qualities in new people, not the return of the same person? The point isn't to win a debate. It's to connect on that shared hope for our souls to keep growing forever.
So, really the heart of the matter is this. The Bahá'í perspective is just rooted in a deep, profound reverence for how unique and precious every single person is. Your identity, your consciousness, is never lost.
The journey isn't about repeating a grade. It's about graduating to an infinite spiritual university with limitless potential for discovery and progress.
And that kind of leaves us with this final thought to really chew on. What if the whole point of our journey isn't to keep coming back here to fix our past mistakes, but instead to constantly move forward, to use the spiritual tools we forge in this life to explore a vast, endless, and truly breathtaking spiritual universe? What would that change about how we live this one, amazing, precious life we have today?